Hello again, everyone. This is Craig, and I'm here to finish up my video showing you how to do a box plot for our CT Module 2 work. You see what I showed in my other video, but I've added some new things in this portion. And what I'm going to do is create my box plot within Excel. It might not be exactly pretty, and you can do it either drawing them by hand or using some other graphics package. But, you know, simple is good, and if you want to just kind of do what I do, that's perfectly fine. What I don't want you to do is just hand me a bunch of numbers and say, this is my box plot. That's not good. But let's see. What I've done is use an Excel function called the Quartile Function. And in the Quartile Function, you simply specify a range and which quartile you want. And Excel will tell you what the value is. And Excel is telling me for the quartile 1 value is 3, and the quartile 3 value, is 7. Quartile 1 is 6, and quartile 3 is 7. And you know from your reading the definitions of what quartiles are. Now what I've done at the upper right that you see is I've just drawn in the numbers 1 through 7, the possible responses, and I'm assuming that the right edge of the cells, like for example, the right edge of this cell is going to be where I will say the number 3 is, and the right edge of this cell is 7. So for the major part of the box plot, the actual box, it has to exchange or extend from 6 to 7. And so what I'm going to do is position myself right there and add a thick box border. And there, I've created a box. It's kind of cheap, but hey, it works. Now, if it would have extended all the way from 4 to 7, I could have done something like that and said, give me a thick outer box, and I would have had one like that. But I didn't do that, and I don't want to mess this up, so I'm going to highlight those cells, open up that, and say no border to get rid of that border. So here's my box plot. It's starting. I have the let's see, the quartile 1, the quartile 3 marked. I also need to put the median in there, right? Now we're doing the importance of quality column, and for that the median is 7. Now how am I going to put that in there? I'm going to have a tough time. I'm not going to require that you put that one in there. It's underneath that line, and that's, well, I just know it's there. I suppose I could put a right line there if I wanted to. Oh, what the heck, I'll do it. There you go, that extension is my median. Now, the whisker of a box plot extends to both the smallest value and the largest value. Well, we won't have any extending to the right because 7 is our largest value, and it's also the quartile, third quartile, and it's also the median, so there'll be no line extending to the right. But how far do we know that we extend to the left? At some point, we start hitting outliers. How do we tell the difference between an outlier and our smallest value? Well, that's where these values come in. What I've done is calculated the difference between quartile 3 and 1, and 7 minus 6 is 1. And then I took 1.5 times that value. See, I'm going to edit this. Let's see, that's called the IQR, the interquartile range. Actually, I don't want you to think I'm multiplying by that, so I'm just going to say or, IQR. Now, in this cell here, I simply took 1.5 times the entire quartile range. No biggie. And then in these last two, this is where we find out the difference between an outlier and a small value. We take quartile 1 minus 1.5 times the entire interquartile range. So that's 1.5. 6 minus 1.5 is 4.5. and quartile 3 plus 1.5 times the interquartile range is 8.5. These two values are where we tell the difference between outliers and just larger small values. Anything be less than 4.5 and anything more than 8.5 are considered outliers. So if we had a value of 5 in our, a response of 5 from our survey respondents, well, that would be the smallest value. But anything beyond 4.5, which for us that would be 4, 3, 2, and 1, those are going to be outliers. I'm going to mark outliers, and I'm going to put an X in for each one of those. There we go. I've got X's for 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's see, I know if I have a smallest value of 5, and I'm not sure I do yet. We're going to check that in just a second. But we probably do. I think maybe. I'm just going to use the apostrophe symbol and make my whisker just by hitting dashes like that. There. Now my box whisker plot, or box plot, or whisker plot, whatever it's called, is just about done. It shows that we have outliers at 1, 2, and 3, and 4. We better confirm that as well. What if we don't have a value of 3? We better not put an X there. It says that our smallest value is 5. First quartile is 6. Third quartile and the median are at 7. Well, we got to do those confirmations, but this is just about done. Let's jump over to where my data comes from. And here it is, the importance of quality column. And at the bottom, what I've done is used another Excel function to find out the number of 1s or number of 2s, number of 3s that are contained in our data. I use the Countif function for doing that. It's quite simple. You simply give its Countif, and then you give the range and the value you're looking for. And what Countif tells me is that we have 5 1s were given in the survey. Let's see, there's one right there. There's not that many of them. There were no 2s. Yeah, 2. 3 3s, 3 6, 3 6 4s, so on and so forth. And we know because of our data, we have a whole bunches of 6s and 7s, don't we? Yes, we do. Which tells me, let's see, we were checking two things. Did any of what we were calling outliers not contain a value? And sure enough, we don't have 2s. So we got to take that X off. How about 5? Are there values of 5? Yes, there are. So our whisker can extend to 5. I'm going to jump back over to that sheet now, and there's our 2. We simply got to delete that value. Our whisker can extend out to 5. My box plot for the importance of quality is complete. That's perfectly acceptable to me. Good luck, everyone. See you in the boards.